Hey guys, so kind of want to talk about Stargirl, the new DC Universe slash CW series. So I know I'm a little behind on the times, but we don't get DC Universe in Australia, so I've had to wait for it to find its way to our cable network. And oh my gosh, I'm 3 episodes in, and I flippin' love it. Now I'm a pretty big fan of Stargirl and of the Justice Society of America as well. A bit of a fan of Golden Age comics in general. Um, and I've honestly, this show has just hit me right in my fanboy heart. It's so far, it's everything that I could have hoped for and more. I'm just blown away by the comic accuracy and the feel of it all. It's just, you can just feel the love for these characters, and I know it makes sense because Jeff Johns is directly involved with it, and he's the one who created Stargirl, Courtney Whitmore, and based her on his late sister. So I knew that we were going to be getting something special, but just the love that permeates through the whole show, the fan faithfulness, oh, it's such a breath of fresh air. I'd probably go so. I'm no expert, honestly. Let's just put it out there. I'm not an expert, you know. There are people who know way more about Saga, way more about the JSA, way more about comics in general than me. But from my point of view, for my money, I think this is probably one of the most comic accurate adaptations ever. Like, especially in terms of live action TV shows or movies, this has got to be up right at the top, or at least as close to the top. It's oh. So when I first saw the first trailer for it, I knew it looked like it was going to be good. It looked like it was going to be comic accurate. I was excited. But one of the things that surprised me is how much further it's gone than I'd anticipated. Like in the trailer, it looked like they had sort of streamlined Courtney's backstory. Because for those you don't know, so this will have some spoilers. Just heads up. But I'm sure everyone's probably watched it by now. Who's gonna watch it? If you haven't watched it by now, like even in Australia, we've got it now. So chances are, if you haven't watched it by now, you're probably not that interested. So anyway, in the comics, Courtney discovers a stepfather, Pat Dugan, used to be Stripesy, who in the comics was an adult sidekick to the child superhero, Sylvester Pembleton, aka the Star Spangled Kid. And that was their gimmick back in the 40s. It was a child superhero of an adult sidekick, you know, twist of a regular formula. And she discovers this, and she takes on the mantle of the Star-Spangled Kid, and he teams up with her as Stripe, you know, Stripe, in his big robot armor. And it's not until a little later that she becomes Stargirl, after, because in the comics, Starman is a legacy character passed on between several characters, like most notably Ted Knight, I believe was the original, but I think he's on Jack Knight, and I think for a couple of others. I know it was like an alien one. But eventually, I think it might have been Jack Knight who passes the torch on to Courtney, and she becomes Stargirl. So she's Star Spangled Kid for a bit before going Stargirl, but I'm pretty sure she's not only Star Spangled Kid for a little while. Whereas based on the trailer, it looked like they were just simply saying Sylvester Pembleton was Starman, and it was just a simple she's taken over from him as Starman, and that Pat was his sidekick, Stripesy. That's what look over in the trailer. Pat was sidekick to Sylvester, but Sylvester was Starman. But then I was surprised to see you find out in the first episode. First of all, you see a newspaper. I think you see a newspaper headline that mentions from years ago. Mentions Star Spangled Kid and Stripes. I was like, oh, cool. So he was actually Star Spangled Kid first, and then Pat goes into the details about how when he was 20 and he was working as a mechanic and a driver for Sylvester's wealthy family. Sylvester was 15. Criminals had targeted his parents, and so Sylvester decided to dress up in a costume to go fight him, and Pat went along. So they sort of kept the sort of general idea of like an adult sidekick to a child hero, because Pat was 20, Sylvester was 15, but it wasn't. Like in the comic, I'm not sure what their ages were, but I'm pretty sure it was much bigger gap. I think it was more like Sylvester was an actual kid and Pat was older. But this makes a little more sense. Like 15 and 20 isn't as bad as like say like an 8-year-old and a 30-year-old. So it makes sense. But I was just really surprised they actually kept that as part of the backstory. And he mentioned that it wasn't until they joined, it wasn't a bit later he took on the name of Starman. But then I think as in the second episode they actually referenced Ted Knight, the first Starman. He says he's the one who built the cosmic staff, and I was impressed with that. Like, okay, cool. So they in this, because in the comics, Sylvester, to simplify things, I know it's like the JSA's history is a little complicated post-crisis, but I think the simplified version basically is, so when Sylvester grows up, he becomes like a hero called Skyman. In this, it looks like all they're really doing is changing it to, instead of becoming Skyman, Sylvester grew up and became a new Starman. It looks like at least Ted Knight held the mantle before him. I don't know how many other Starmen will have in this canon, but yeah, if nothing else, Ted Knight was original Starman, which is as it should be. And so I'm happy about it. I think that's going to make sense. Because and then so all that really changed is Sylvester became Starman, and Courtney was never Star Spangled Kid. She just went straight to being Stargirl. And I think that makes sense for a TV show, because or else, it's taking away a few unnecessary steps, but still keeping the majority of it. And I'm impressed with that. I'm impressed that they've kept more than I was expecting them to keep. So that just really made me happy. I'm just loving the vibe and the feel of the show. You can tell they're going for like a sort of retro feel, and I like the sort of references. They always reference a lot of the golden age of superheroes, or like Pat mentioned, and he grew up as the golden age of video games. Like a lot of, you can just feel this sort of love of the golden age. There's a lot of this feeling of like this wistful remembering a time gone by, which is just perfect for a show that isn't centered on the JSA, but sort of as like JSA is like a big part of this universe, and everything that's sort of happening has come from them, essentially, the JSA and the ISA. And it's funny because when you think like in this universe, like it looks like it's meant to be set in the present day, even though we've got some clear sort of 70s, 80s vibes going on. It's sort of, it's set in the present day just based on the level of technology they have and whatnot. So it's weird thinking about, this version of a JSA, despite the sort of wistful nostalgia, would have been running around in 2010, so early 2000s. So it's kind of funny. Like I think Pat said something about she said she commented on, I think I commented on the names, or like the fact they called themselves the Justice Society of America, and he was like, "Oh, it's a different time." And I think, yeah, it was like 2010. Okay, probably earlier than that. Assuming they were together for a decent length of time, maybe 2000, maybe in the 90s, but no, the sort of nostalgic glow that covers the show is just, I am there for it. I love that sort of thing. I love how full on we've gone for JSA. Like when you see we haven't seen much of them. Like I said, only 3 episodes in, you haven't seen much of them. But when you have seen, it's like they're straight from a comic page. This is like Golden Age, Justice Society of America, just like from page to screen. No Legends of Tomorrow style outfits, thank goodness, because obviously the JSA and Stargirl have both been adapted a few times on screen. We got Smallville and JSA, if you're talking live action. I mean, not JSA. Excuse me, my brain just spazzed out. You had Smallville, it had Legends of Tomorrow, both done live action adaptations. And the Smallville version I thought was really good. It was of a similar sort of vein of like your sort of golden age nostalgia, really sort of honoring these heroes. But the Legends of Tomorrow version, oh my gosh, I was so disappointed with the Legend of Tomorrow version of Justice Society. It was just such a letdown. And we're so glad this is proving so far to be a big bout of redemption for the Arrowverse in regards to the JSA and Stargirl. This is exactly the answer we needed to that Legends of Tomorrow, Justice Society. Everyone in this so far, they just look perfect. I love episode 3. They go to the JSA's headquarters, and the banners, the table, everything, just like those banners with the different heroes, they look perfect. That looks like some genuine comic art there. Like, oh my gosh, you see Johnny Thunder, you see Jay Garrick's Flash, you see Alan Scott's Green Lantern, you see Wildcat. Oh my gosh. The fact you're seeing Johnny Thunder in a live action, major TV show, that's amazing. Like, we haven't actually seen him yet, but properly, but we've seen his picture, and that's amazing. And the Thunderbolt looks like it might be important because Courtney takes it with her when she's getting a bunch of JSA equipment to take and try and find new members. But oh my gosh, it just gave me chills. Like, this is it. This is the feeling I want to have watching Justice Society. I don't want them to be wearing like muted colors, leather, and try make them look like generic superheroes like we did in Legends of Tomorrow. I want them to feel like they've come from a bygone era. I want them to feel like they've come from a golden age, and that is exactly the vibe I've been getting. And oh my gosh, and Courtney, I need to, it is called Stargirl, so I need to stop fanning out another JSA. But Courtney herself, what's her name? Breck Passenger. She's perfect. She's perfectly cast, honestly. Like, there've been some good Stargirls in the past, like the Stargirl and Supergirl. I mean, not Supergirl, but Stargirl and Smallville, and even the one in Legends of Tomorrow. They were both good. I liked the animated version in Justice League Unlimited, but this one, yeah, she's hitting the nail on the head, I think. I love that she's not, like, she's a little whiny, I guess, but not whiny. She wants to avenge Starman's death. She thinks it's her father. She wants to reassemble the JSA. She wants to fight the Injustice Society, but she's not whiny. And I love that there's no, like, just because I'm a girl. Like, it's just simply Pat knows what the dangers are, and he's trying to protect her, and she's sort of like, determined to do this. And but it's not irritating. It's not grating so far. Hopefully that doesn't change. I think she looks the part. I think she acts the part. The whole feel of Blue Valley is just spot on. The whole feel of a show is just perfect so far. I'm loving it. The ISA, again, looking spot on. I was a little disappointed when they used Icicle in the Flash as Caitlin's father. Like, that's also what they do in the Flash. They have, like, so many villains of the week and whatnot, but they just pull villains from all throughout comic history, and they're usually hardly anything like the comic version. And it's fair enough, they need to have a new meta this week, so I'll pick out, we'll do the Fiddler now, and we'll do Weeper now, and like, you're just like plucking these random obscure villains that not maybe we already know about. You're gonna have to look at the DC wiki to go, oh yeah, they were like a Firestorm villain for like a few issues in the 80s or something. Sorry, just adjusting my chair. But I love that they got Icicle's amazing. Like, I love this tease of how to Solomon Grundy. I love what we've seen, a brief glimpse of how the rest of the ISA so far. I'm loving, and I just can't wait to see them all in their full glory. Oh, Brainwave! How could I forget Brainwave? He was amazing. It's fun trying to play like who's a supervillain and who's a child of a supervillain, and like I'm trying to, like, I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of DC canons. I'm trying to think up names, and I hear names like, oh wait, are they significant? Is that a significant name? Is that a villain? Is that a child of a villain? Like, I know, I've spotted our new Owlman, our new Wildcat, and our new Dr. Midnight, who I love so far. Beth Chapel, Beth Chapel on this, I love. But yeah, she's going to be great as Dr. Midnight. And Yolanda Montez, she looks great. We haven't seen much of Rick Taylor yet. Tyler. Sorry, don't come after me. But I'm really looking forward to see, like, episode 3 ends with Courtney. She's at the JSA headquarters, and she's gathering all the different sort of bits of equipment and artifacts and stuff, and she's going to go try and assemble a new Justice Society, and I'm looking forward to this. This is how you do it. You don't just do what Legends did and slam a bunch of random members of the JSA from different points in its history. You don't just make Stargirl a member of the JSA in the 1940s just because she's one of the most sort of popular JSA members these days. This is how you do it. Generational differences is like a big part of the JSA, and especially like sort of post-crisis. And I love that that's what it's going to be about. We're going to be ushering in a new generation of Justice Society members, and I cannot wait. So yeah, some basic rambling thoughts. I wasn't very coherent, I'm sorry, but I'm just loving the show. These are some of my basic thoughts. I could probably go on for like an hour, but I won't. Point is, loving the show. Love the way it feels, love the way it looks. But so far, I cannot think of anything that I really got to complain about. Looking forward to see how it goes from here. So yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys all think of Stargirl. Please don't give me any spoilers. If you're further ahead than I am, which you probably are. I've already got a few accidental spoilers, which have actually got me pretty excited. Shiny Knight. 7 Soldiers of Victory. Anyway, guys, take care, stay safe, and keep on doing whatever you're doing.